This is the Cafe d'Acy, the main restaurant of the Bellevue Hotel, Manila. Smells like food. Are you hungry? Well, it's about time we talk about dining etiquette. It's very important because everybody eats. Come on, I'll show you around. Let's talk about dining etiquette. For formal dinners, check place cards for seating arrangements. Turn your cell phone off or put on silent mode. Get acquainted with everyone in the table. For those you are meeting for the first time, be prepared to present your business card. Shake hands firmly with everyone and avoid getting hooked only with people you already know. Smile and be pleasant to everyone. If the meal arrangement is a buffet, just like what we have here at Cafe d'Acy, wait for the host to invite everyone to the buffet table. If meal arrangement is a la carte, that means you order at your own pleasure. Do not order the priciest items on the menu if you're not the one paying the bill. That's embarrassing. If the group agrees, order with large portions which may be shared, just like in family style serving, or serve in smaller servings. Refrain from talking in excessively loud volume or when your mouth is full. Keep your napkin on your lap. Chew your food quietly with your mouth closed. Never tilt back your chair while at the table. Refrain from sneezing, coughing, or blowing your nose at the table. It is best to do it in the restroom. Do not play with the food or table cutlery. Refrain from chastising someone who shows poor manners on the table. Do not put your elbows on the table or slouch just like this. Do not make unnecessary noise while eating. Refrain from staring at anyone. That is considered rude. Do not eat with your fingers unless these are finger foods, just like pizza, French fries, chips, and veggie sticks. When eating messy food like barbecue, crabs, etc., use bibs or wipes, usually provided by the restaurant. When using paper napkins, never ball them up or allow stains to show. The correct sequence in using cutlery is from the outside part to the inside part of the dinner plate. Sometimes we're so confused. There are just so many pieces of cutlery. Which one do I use first? What's the correct sequence? So just look at the diagram and you will see that you have your forks on the left side and you have the knife and the spoons on the right side. The sequence is from outside inward. So obviously, they will be serving a salad because there is a salad fork. There will be soup served also because there is a soup spoon. And then there is dinner fork and dinner knife. You use that for cutting meat. So notice that this is the complete setup in a formal dining. There are just too many cutlery on the dining table. It could get confusing, I understand. But, take it easy. I'll walk you through it, and this is our tutorial. First, you have the soup spoon. The soup spoon is more rounded than the regular tablespoon. Then you have the tablespoon, which is a bit oval. And then you have the long spoon, which is used for desserts and cocktail drinks. Then you have the teaspoon, which is used for stirring your tea. And we have dessert spoon for dessert. And of course, in many Chinese restaurants, you will see this, the Chinese soup spoon, which is either plastic or ceramic. Then, these are the different types of forks. We'll start with table fork, which is used for cutting meat. And then you have your appetizer fork, which you use for your salads and appetizers. And fish fork. If you are shown this type of cutlery on the dining table, you can guess easily that seafoods will be served. And of course, we have dessert fork and the corn cob fork. Notice the difference between the fish fork and the other types of forks. There are only 3/10. So the others have 4. Did you spot that? Now, let's talk about the knives. Table knife is used for cutting chicken or fish, but you also have your steak knife, which is serrated and it's used for cutting steak or a bit hard meat. And bread knife for bread, butter knife, and then you also have your cheese knife. In formal dining setup, sometimes they put a placemat, or in place of a placemat, the charger plate. This is where the dining plate is put on. Never attempt to put food on the charger plate. That is not a plate. It is the substitute for a placemat. The purpose of this too is to catch small bits and pieces of food that fall out of your plate. So it doesn't make your whole table messy. Then, when you order soup, you might be served thick soup, and that is served on a regular soup bowl. And then there is also the clear soup served on a consomme bowl or a consomme cup. So when you are finished sipping your soup, you may want to tilt the soup bowl to get the remaining contents. But for consomme cup, you hold the 2 ears by the hand and sip it. Types of plates, we have the appetizer plate, which is approximately about 6 to 7 inches in diameter. And then you have your dinner plate, which is roughly around 10.5 to 12 inches in diameter. Then you have the bread plate, which is smaller than the dessert plate. And the dessert plate could come in many shapes and sizes, depending on the dessert to be served. They can be very artistic or a bit fancy, just like what we have here. And other restaurant implements such as chopsticks, which you will find in many Oriental or Asian restaurants, whether you're dining in a Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, Japanese, or Chinese restaurant, they will most likely have chopsticks. But don't worry, if you don't know how to use chopsticks, you can just simply ask for spoon and fork or knife and fork. Don't be embarrassed to ask. And we have the benjerong. You think benjerong is used for soup? No, benjerong is where you put rice. Rice is served in royal Thai families in a benjerong. Very colorful, right? And then the nutcracker. Just in case nuts will be served, like walnuts, for example. And the different kinds of glasses. You have wine glass. You have one for red and another one for white wine. And then the water goblet. Notice the difference between the wine glass and the water goblet. The wine glass has a longer stem, thinner stem, while the water goblet has a shorter and thicker stem. Tom Collins, also called the juice glass, comes in 6 ounces, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, and 12 ounces. This is where you can have your juices or soda drink or maybe some cocktails. And there's the rock glass. The rock glass used to be called a tooth glass. It has a very thick round base and it's a bit heavy. In many 5-star hotels, if you check out their bathroom, they normally have 2 pieces of rock glass or what you call tooth glass. Why was it called tooth glass? Because that's where the old people used to soak their dentures overnight. And then you have the champagne glass. There are two types, the regular one and then the flute type. And then brandy glass and martini glass. Beer is served in many countries. In most American culture countries, the beer is served in a mug. But in the British colonies, they serve it in a pint. In the olden days, ladies cannot order beer in a pint. Ladies have to order beer on a glass. But nowadays, who cares? Ladies can drink as much as men, so they can always want their beer in a pint. And then you have the jigger or the shot glass. So when you order Campari Soda Double or Gin and Tonic Double, you expect 2 jiggers of gin or 2 jiggers of Campari. It makes it a bit stronger. And then you have liqueur glass. This is where you pour your amaretto or your Bailey's Irish Cream. Then you have the balloon glass, which is used for cocktails also. And then you have the coffee cup, the tea cup, and the Turkish coffee cup, which is very dainty and small. When you want something to be passed on to you, politely say, "Kindly pass the chicken relleno, please." Scoop the soup away from your body. Tilt the soup to scoop remaining contents of the bowl. Seasoning one's food prior to tasting is impolite and insulting to the chef. When you accidentally drop a cutlery, ask the waiter for a replacement politely. When finished with each dish, place the fork and knife in the 4 o'clock position to alert the waiter. Use the serving spoon, fork, or tongs when getting food onto your plate. Always use fork and knife for pasta dishes. Roll spaghetti in small portions. Nutcracker is used to crack crab claws and lobsters. Chopsticks are used in Asian restaurants. Request for a spoon and fork or fork and knife if you are not comfortable using chopsticks. Cheese is served after meals at European diners. Fortune cookies are common in Chinese restaurants, and they're great fun. Engage in wholesome talk, not controversial topics. It is acceptable to request for a brown bag for leftover food. You cannot do this in formal dinners, though. After meal, give compliments to the chef. If you're paying the bill, discreetly place the money or credit card in the bill fold. Make sure you are capable of paying the bill to avoid embarrassment. Thank the host for the meal.